Hello viewers, welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mary Grace.
And I'm Linda Lively.
Thank you so much. Karibuni sana.
So I will give this chance to our guests to introduce themselves, tell us their names, what they do, and then we will continue. Karibuni sana, our guest.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Linda and Mary, for having me here. My name is Lynette Wanene. Lynette Wanene is a wife. She's a mother. She's a colleague. She's an auntie. She does a lot with her life. And she has a great passion for the youth, even as a minister of the gospel. And I'm so glad that I'm here today. I know we are going to dive into quite a lot. And I'm really looking forward to us interacting. Once again, thank you so much for having me.
My name is Brian Muredi. I'm a teacher and the director at Chukawazi Institute. I'm happy to be in this forum. I hope that you will learn as much as you hope to from me. Thank you.
Hamjambo. I'm Naomi Muredi. I'm a wife, a mother, a friend. We are here to interact today. So it's my hope that we are going to enjoy, and I'm also a teacher. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The topic of today is about relationship, and we have different types of relationships. We have a relationship with our families, friends, teachers, neighbors, but today we are specifically going to talk about boy-girl relationship. So before we start, we get to it. Mr. Brian, tell us something little about boy-girl relationship, or what does that mean?
Thank you. To begin with, boy-girl relationship as put, I would want to bring it closer home to a man-lady relationship. Now that in the room, I'm able to see that these are adults. And actually my expectation in all these is that the relationship that we are developing as of now are not boyish or guyish, more serious. We are looking forward for more serious relationship. Now, when we talk about these young ladies and gentlemen relationship, we are focusing on a relationship that probably would lead to development of a family. Because we are not beating around the bush, it's a relationship, a serious thing that will come up with a family, and a family will live longer than you have lived. Because, for example, if you are 20 years or 25 years, you are going to live with this person for the rest, probably 50 years, Mukami. 50 years. Now, 50 years is not a joke, and therefore it needs to be given all the necessary attention and efforts in its development. A relationship is niseme kwa Kiswahili ni mitaguzano, ni kutengeneza mitaguzano ambayo itakuletea maana kwa maisha yako. It's a serious thing.
Wow. Madam Lynette, what's your view on the same?
God created us as social being. And I like the way Brian has put it, that is not a boy, girl thing. I always say a relationship that leads to marriage is not for boys and girls. It's for men and women who have purposed, who are not joking around, who are not testing things, but who are serious about life and serious about the future and serious about all that comes out from the same. And I'm glad that we have this platform to really dig deep into that.
Okay, thank you. Currently, we have a challenge, especially on the side of relationship. There are so many things that are happening, and the relationship, some of these relationships are not working. And could we be doing something different that you people were not doing, or are we missing out on something? Madam Naomi.
The young man and the young woman relationship. I may tend to think that probably something is going wrong somewhere, whereby the young men and the young women, probably as they start this relationship, they have not looked at it where they want to take it. And therefore, that's why you meet within the course of that relationship, it just ends somewhere. Or probably somebody is taking advantage of the other, they are not serious. Sijui kama ni masomo about your relationship as we are talking, or maybe the reason why we are here today imekosa for young men and young women. I would like to use those words, or the mature youth, from the parent, probably from the tertiary levels where they are training, or even from the churches, the youth forums. I don't know where the problem is chipping in. But now that we are here, we should take the advantage and talk, hire it out. You are there, you are the victims at the moment. I may not explore much because as for me and him, it was serious. We saw nobody who was joking with the other. We knew where we want to take it. Probably we may not have the experience of having felt it, or probably he had one and it failed. He can tell, or I had one and it failed, but I was looking for somebody who is serious to start it and to take it to the end. Looking forward for those 50 years that we are talking about, not something that will come to end like that. So as you are saying, we don't know what is happening with the young people relationships of nowadays, and you may get, even you have started a relationship within a few days, few months, few years, with not even more than 3 people, it is feeling, then you ask yourself some questions, what is happening? As for me, I will say this, as I heard this statement. Young people, they are lacking seriousness in life, number 1. Number 2 is that case of mine, that probably where he was to be mentored or to have a few role models to see that they started theirs and they headed somewhere, or they are heading somewhere. We are lacking that generation good role models. And number 3, they are taking advantages of others, knowing probably even if I dump this one, I get another one. So we will find out as we head the section. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
So, Mr. Brian, maybe you can start by explaining to us what is dating. Maybe that's where we go wrong, by defining the word dating. We take it in a long way.
I will use, thank you, Grace, for that question. I will use very simple terms, and without making it academic in any way. Dating is where you identify a person that you do want to make special. Let me call them soulmate. And if it's a soulmate, makes it very serious because it's about your soul. They become a part of your life. In other words, you are choosing somebody that can become you, that can carry your life. Not even your visions, not even wealth. Somebody that becomes you. And that makes it very serious. And now, after you have identified, you go to the next step of building a serious relationship with them. Very serious. Then you invest in it, in a process of probably seeing one another, trying to learn about each other, knowing if really they can become you, your soulmate, they become you, and give it your best, make it an investment, do it the best way you can, without really following very many rules that are restrictive. Do it knowing that you are making that your relative, you are making them your soul mate, yourself.
I have done a bit of my research on why the relationships are not really working. Number one, there is the place of role modeling. We lack role models. In our time, we attended so many conferences, so many youth conferences, and we were really guided. But there is an issue with the current young people that they think they know it all. And the models is the soap opera. And you find this guy and you want to meet an alhadro in him, and it doesn't happen. So who is really the role model? Who am I looking up to? And the already family setup that are there have failed to some extent. Because, these ones were doing very well, it ended. These ones were doing very well, it ended. And we get into the relationship with the mind that this thing ends. We enter into it very, very pessimistic, not optimistic. It's like I'm in a relationship with this guy, but chances that it will not go far are, this. So whatever effort you could give it, it's not there, because there's a lot of negativity about relationships not working, and we are not investing in the right information. We are not investing in the right people. It is investment. Like you said, is a person you live with for 50 years. It's not a person you grew up, maybe you met at 20 years or at 22 years. They are them at 22 and you are you at 22. So relating the two people is not an easy thing. It's not a walk in the park. It is something you have to be decisive and to be really, made up your mind to do. Because the other thing is we come into the relationship and we want X to change into me. And that can never happen. Because we are built up, we have different personalities, we have different built-ups. So I want my guy to act like a guy I saw in soap opera. I know you watch those things, guys. Kissing under the rain. It doesn't happen. Not in Africa. It never happens. They're doing it for money, and you can do anything for money. And then you come in the relationship, and this is what you expect. And then some of us, we enter into a relationship and it's take. You don't want to give. It is take. It is usually a give and take process. And again, it has a process. Nowadays, what I've seen with many young people, you're starting at dating level. You're supposed to start at friendship level. Then after friendship, then you go to dating. After dating, you get engaged, and then you get to courtship, and then you get into marriage. But now we start at dating. You can't start at dating and make it. You need to start at friendship level. You're just friends. You have not hinted anything. Brian and Kawi can tell you that they didn't start at, I love you, you love me, I'll marry you, marry me, that kind. It doesn't start there. It starts from, I have seen this guy and I'm feeling something. And from that, you relate at friendship level. Because at friendship level, you get to see a lot about this person. Before you even leave a guy, before you even tell her you love her, watch her from a friendship level. Because once you tell her I love you, she will tune into what she thinks you need to see in her. But before you do that, she's able to see, he is able to see this is her now. This is how she gets mad, this is how she behaves. And so this guy makes a decision with info that I want to pursue her regardless of what I have seen. But now we start from you know, I love you and I want to take you out and what and what and of course I'll behave. I'll be at my best all the time. But if I start it at the friendship level, we are just friends. Friends will show you their bad side. Friend will show you this is how I get hungry. But if you rush so fast into I love you and I want to marry you, they'll change into something else. And along the way, you come and realize, wow, this is not what I bargained for, and things end. That's my take.
Madam Lynette, on what you were saying, talking about role models, you will have to agree with me that we are also missing that a lot from the people who are a little bit older than us and who have been there for years. You know, like maybe our parents, yeah, and even some of our spiritual parents. Some of these people, I'm sorry to say, they have not been good role models to us. They are the ones who are supposed to be guiding us, leading us, telling how this is how you do it, this is the way. But saizi ukiangalia, in fact, some of them are even hitting on us young girls, and they are so old, like old enough to be our fathers and our grandfathers. So what do we do about that?
Okay, that's true. It's a fact, it's a truth. We don't have many role models, but I will say we have some role models, and we can invest in them. We can invest in the few. From 100, you can find 2, and you can invest in the 2. Because that's true. That's true. I agree. We don't have role models. They are very, very, very few. Very, very few. And again, the way the African family set up, if it's not modernized, there's no time your mother will sit you down and tell you, okay, this is how you date, this is how this is how you get this chick, this is how you behave. African culture does not allow that. But some homes are getting modernized. And like the way we are raising our children, from a very tender age, you want to know, do you have a boy who is your friend at school? We are starting the conversation very early. Because we want it, by the time they are teenage, at least we have given them some direction. And I agree that, but we can't miss 100%. We can't miss.
Okay, before we go to the next point, let me hear from the audience. Let me hear from one of you.
Kuna hiyo misunderstanding ambayo ina lead to unapata ndo maybe 2 people they break up. So ni ati huwa kukuangi na that long period of friendship, ama ni ati mtu amejipata tu pap umeanza kudate. Thank you.
Before you start dating, several things, even as you identify your soulmate, 3 things I would want to mention. Number 1, before you identify that person, you need to know God. That's where I will begin. Because God is the giver of everything. And I want the youth of today to realize and to know that life is spiritual. Life is spiritual. And all things that you can see are engineered in the spiritual world. That's why it is very necessary to know God. Know God, relate with Him, know what He would have intended for you. Ask Him several questions. And I know that even them that do not go to church, they have a concept of godliness in them. Relate with your God at whatever point and understand Him and what you want for Him. Number 2, know yourself. Knowing self is not easy. Because unless you know yourself, you are going to push your limits, your limitations to the other person. You end up quarreling for nothing. Number 3, know the person that you do want to make your soulmate. That's where friendship comes. Lynette has put it very clearly. You cannot start at the dating level. Develop a pool of friends. A pool of friends. Be with them. Know how they react to different situations. Then, when it comes to picking a soulmate, you pick this one that you have already assessed and you are sure that is the person that God would want for you, and the person that you would want for yourself, and the person that would want you, because you already know God, you know yourself, and you know your friend. Now, fighting and quarreling in relationships, in dating, I tell you the truth, that's the most beautiful time of life. Something that you should all look forward to. Kwa sababu, nikimkosea, akienda huko kitchen ataniambia ni sawa, umenifanya hivyo lakini utanijua. Utanijua inatokeanga tu saa zile mtu amekosewa. You cannot know this person unless amekukosea. And therefore, take those moments ambazo ni za kukosana as golden moments and love them. Because relationship and family making is about resolving conflicts. Even when you are married, you're not married to an angel. Even in the Holy Book, it is written about angels who came and married our girls. Did they make very perfect families? No. They made a generation that God regretted. Akasema, I wish I never created these people. So don't look for an angel. These fighting, when they come, handle those conflicts rationally, calmly, resolve the conflicts. Those are not the only conflicts that you are going to handle in this life. Watoto wenu watazaliwa, alafu mtaanza kuhandle conflicts za watoto, mtahandle conflicts za neighbors. Handle conflicts. One thing about handling conflicts, kindly. Be kind to one another. Don't look for that word or that action that will hurt most. Because we are not competing. If I'm competing with my wife, na nimshinde, mtanipigia makofi. Mniambie, Brian akojua alishinda. It's nonsense. You don't have to fight, you don't have to compete. Handle each other with grace. Golden moments in dating ni hizo moments za kukosana. Asante.
Okay. Before we go to the next question from the audience. Is it possible to have multiple guys? Like to date as many guys as you can, as long as it is not intimate?
How many souls do you have?
Okay. I'm asking that question because one day I was hanging out with my friends, and then there's this woman, old enough to be a man. She came by and she was like, you know, you girls, you should date as many men as you can, but make sure amjakuwa intimate. And then out of the men, the multiple men that you will date, you choose one. So is it possible to have multiple men?
I can be very quick on that one. Friends, as many as you can. Friends. Dating and your soulmate, one. Full stop.
There's something to add on that. There's something that happens when you date many people. You can never have. It says about life being spiritual. There's the place of soul ties where your souls get tied together. That is why you find even some marriages that are breaking is because I am married to this person, but I have dated 5. So this is my 6th. My soul is attached to 6 people. So no matter how I want this marriage to work, it can never work. Because there are 6 people I have given my soul to. So you find it is, what word can I use? It is very, very dangerous. If you want your marriage to work, 1. Attach your soul to 1.
On the same. So what do we do? Because honestly speaking, some of us have dated before you get to the right person, you know. they have dated several, let's say like 2 or 3, and then now the 4th person that you dated, ndiye sasa the right partner. What do you do with the previous people that you dated with?
Welcoming Jesus or God in your life. He is the only one who will be able to know how he will disconnect you from those previous relationships that you had already connected yourself with. He talked of life being so spiritual. That's the truth. So the first, especially when you fall into intimate, that one is already a family. God has done away with that one, anajua ni familia. Ukitengeneza na mwingine inakuwa hivyo. So coming to realize of God or coming to put Jesus here, he is the one who will know what he is going to do with those other relationships so that he can detach you. So that when you come to the your intimate or your soulmate, as we are calling them, the person whom you are to live with the rest of your life, God will work on the previous relationships ukiwa umempea hiyo nafasi, so that even your marriage or your relationship with your spouse will not be staggering. By the way, that is what is causing what we are talking about, these early breakups in marriages. You see young men and these women, they have been going on very well, they are married with a very colorful wedding, but within no time, they are that spiritual thing, that life that we are talking about. They don't know. They are outside there, they don't know how those things come to affect them in their marriages when now they settle and they become now serious in life. The relationships, the datings, the friendships that they are outside there now, before you identify yourself and say, now I want to be a serious wife, I want to be a serious man, there is some damages that has already been done. And especially for the people who say that they know Jesus. Hao wengine wa ulimwengu huko nje hawaelewi hizo maneno, watakuwa wanakumbana na hizo challenges without knowing. But for us who are listening to us outside there, who we are here and we are getting this information, please, it is your high time also. If you had not known that, just go before God. Just tell him who you are. He knows you, to disconnect you with that, with those other intimate outside or intimacies that hasn't been working outside there before. Now you identify yourself before you fall into a serious dating and continue, so that they will not affect your future relationship or your future intimacy or the marriage. Is that clear? Yes.
Oh, thank you. Let's hear from someone else.
Okay. Thank you so much, our guests and hosts. I'd want to maybe add and ask a question on the point that Madam Lynette asked, on the point of, in the African culture, we are not encouraging such discussions. We do not have discussions around these things with the young people. But isn't it time to challenge that status quo? Isn't it time to really have these discussions and have them authentically? And it's not about only the old people impacting in the young people, but also hearing them out. Because the old people might know something, but me as a young person, there's something else that I know. But when I'm speaking to you, maybe you're not hearing it out and addressing it from my point of view. And what are we doing as Africans to challenge such a status quo? I don't know, are we encouraging such discussions as Africans? Are we having discussions around that? I don't know if that's a question or it's something that we should think about, but my question is on women empowerment. What is the take of that? Because I've had discussions with some men and they are saying that women empowerment has made women forget their roles as women. Of course, as the African culture, we know the role of women is the kitchen, taking care of the homes and whatnot. But now it's like the role of women has been has shifted to, now I'm a career woman, I have to also go look for money, and they feel like women empowerment has taken the place that women used to take, and they don't know now who should fill that gap. So what's your take on the role of women in relationships and what should be done? Thank you.
Our culture is beautiful, very beautiful. The African culture is one of the best in the world. And I'm not just saying that because I am an African. I'm saying it because African culture had several values, checks, and balances. For example, it was the role of my uncle to guide me on some of these things. Yet, my uncle has become very busy, and I'm not guided. But I'm not very sure that it is the uncle who has not guided me, ama ni mimi sijaenda kumtafuta tuongee aniambie. Kwa hivyo sitampushia hiyo problem niseme ni yeye hakunikaidi. Huenda ni mimi sikwenda kumtafuta. Nimekutana na kijana tunaenda kuuliza kwa kina msichana. Na tukaenda Madam Line, tukaenda vizuri sana. Kijana hajui kwa kina msichana. Hajui. So tunafika anajua tu ni a certain town. Tukifika hapo kwa that town na huyu ni mke wako na wedding in the next 2 months. Ni kumaanisha kama hajui kwao honestly. Anamjua hata ni nani huyu anaenda kuoa. Very serious. It's not like the African culture has dictated that we change, or even the new culture of education. I think there is a problem with the way we view things. The current generation, Madam Lively, the current generation is not taking things very seriously. And number two, they would want to do things in hiding. That's not about culture. It's not the new culture that has come. Hiding things. Unakuja tu kunisurprise. Mimi ni baba yako, unakuja kunisurprise na kijana. It does not work that way. The process of dating must be done in a very open manner. Do not fear that people will judge you. That is one of the conflicts that you need to deal with. Eti wataniongea, watasema why do you want to present yourself as a very good person? Na sisemi uko mbaya, na ile goodness ambayo unataka kutuambia ni mzuri, ni goodness ya kutusurprise na mtu wa ujui. Mtu wa ujui usituletee. So what I will say on that point ya culture ni kwamba it's not, sio the new culture ambayo imeleta haya mambo. Tusisingizie culture ya mzungu. Wazungu wanaifanyanga very openly. Wazungu they take time, wanajua ninataka hivi. I'm told that they even kama ni contract marriage, they are very clear. Lakini mimi nitavichia, nataka kumpatia contract, lakini nimevichia, nimemwambia till death do us part, which is very dangerous. Number 2, on the issue of women and their role. When a lady is educated, when a lady is working, when a lady is involved and engaged in several activities of community development, it's a blessing. And I will say this as a man. We are proud of women that are able to influence the world. Nikisikia ati my wife ameenda mahali na huko alikuwa mgeni wa heshima na vile aliongea, kila mtu ananikuja akiniuliza bibi yako anaongeanga vizuri hivyo, I'm happy. Wageni wakikuja nyumbani akipika chakula kizuri waseme hiyo chakula ni exemplary, I feel good. Kwa sababu mwanamke kwetu ni maua. Ni ua gani hili ambalo alitatoa harufu mzuri na kupendeza watu wengine? We don't marry so that we can hide them in the bedroom. Na hiyo ni challenge. Nakuja pole pole. Hiyo ni challenge. If you begin your relationship in the bedroom, Madam Library, if you begin the relationship in the bedroom, you will be made a bedroom lady. Lakini kama ni mtu mnatoka, because dating tumesema ni out. Ni uko nje, of course kuna dating hapa ndani ya kukaa na muongee, you agree on very many things. But you see, in the old times, a lady would be invited by a boy, washinde kwa shamba, wanalima. Objective si kulima, objective ni kuobserve some good qualities in this lady. And the identification of these qualities, so that you can make them your soulmate, will not be accomplished underneath the Coca-Cola umbrella. Tunaona ile zile miavuli ya Coca-Cola zinawekwa hapo nyuma ya duka, ni kuite tukuje tukutane hapo, tukunywe kasoda. Kasoda akatasaidia kuona huyu, sababu objective haikuwa kuona eti una meza soda na mna gani. Objective ni kuona qualities of life. And qualities of life are serious things that will be seen over time as we continue interacting. Therefore, we need to make several opportunities of meeting and interacting. Ndio tujue, because sioni kama kuna mwanaume saizi eti angekataa sana mke wake aende kufanya kazi na anajua shilingi inakuja kwake. Shilingi tunaipenda unless kuna mambo yingine ambayo they were not put right na nataka kukusingizia. Kama nataka kukusingizia, naweza kukusingizia on anything. But if the relationship was made right here on the ground, tuliblend vizuri, hakuna vile tutaenda kutafutania makosa pale ndani ya kuambiana ni vile anafanya kazi, ni vile anafanya hivi. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. There is a more fundamental problem in that relationship that is working because of the role of woman. She's going to work more than meet the eye.
So, foundation, laying the foundation.
As we were entering, we were talking with the nets, tukieleza vile hao tunalea hao watoto wadogo. We were just sharing. The point I'm bringing home, nilikuwa naniambia changamoto za watoto wake na mimi namwambia za wangu, na of course exchanging ideas na yale maswali yanaulizwa na hao watoto wanawajibu. She has just told me the little, how many about 3 years. The other day amemuuliza akiwa anamwoshaosha kumvalisha nguo, akamuuliza mama, the mother wanted to know if the boy know himself. Akamuuliza, who are you? Boy kakamwambia mamboy, na niko na kasusu. Akamuuliza, na mama uko na kasusu? So the mother had to strain to answer that question because we say we have to answer them honestly, very politely, na usimdanganye. That's what our parents lacked. Hawangeongea direct na watoto, but of course you consider the age of the child. She answered, she told her, I'm a girl, I'm a mom. And I will tell you about that. Because nowadays, the boy laughed because amesikia mama hajajibu yote. What am I saying? Ambieni watoto, they are taking these phones. Social media is exposing them to so many things. Mwambie ukweli, sababu within no time atajua ukweli wa yale mambo unamficha. Mwingine anakuja akaniuliza, kwa nini daddy na mama wanalala pamoja? Na ni boy na girl, na tunajua kule shuleni boy na girl wasilale pamoja. Nikamwambia sababu mama na daddy wameoana. Huyo ni bibi na bwana na wanakubaliwa. Na ndio hata watu tu wamekubaliwa kukiss. Unaona, there is something that ninatoa kwa huyu mtoto na ninamwambia ukweli in a very polite way na yeye ambaye ataweza kuelewa.
So I want to be in a place whereby I can talk to my mother about it. Nimwambie, hey mom, kuna mtu hapa anataka akuje kusalimie, muongeongee uone kama niko sawa ama nimetupa mbao, you know. But you find in some families, like the relationship we have with our parents, unapata it's hard to talk to them about the same. Yani inafika ile time yenye unaolewa ama mtu anataka kuoa, unaenda unaambia mtu uko nje kwanza, alafu sasa unaenda una approach your parents. So kunafaa kuwa na hiyo, they should create a good environment whereby we can talk to them about some of these things.
There is a way things are done. Ukisema eti utaenda kuambia mama yako eti kuna mgeni nataka aende kuja kusalimie, mimi naona hapo ni kama already things should not be done that. You have your friends. Si your friends wanakujanga nyumbani. Ukifanya an appointment is very serious. Actually ukiambia mama yako ya kwamba kuna mgeni anakuja, unaona anaenda kutafuta wa mama wengine wangojee mgeni huyo anakuja. That's how things are done. But in your pool of friends, si wanakujanga nyumbani ama friends ni huko nje peke yake. Wacha wakuje hata nyumbani, but friends, and you need to define to yourself very well that a friend is a friend. She is my friend and not my wife, and she has never become my fiancée. She has never but she is my friend. By the time I was getting married to her, tulikuwa tunajuana na yeye na walikuwa wanajuana. Unaona hivyo? Because she is a friend, na sio yeye peke yake, and many other friends. And a friend is a friend. A friend is not a fiancé. Friend wakuje nyumbani, mkule. Friend, kwa mfano, friend sio mtu yule umeambia I love you. Friend, unaenda kuambia friend I love you, hiyo imevuka mipaka. Labda kuna issue nyingine hapo zaidi unataka zaidi ya friendship. And don't make your friend a fiancé if you are not sure that you want it. Ndio muende kuachana kesho tuseme relationships are not working na ni vile zinafanywa in a way that is not right. Therefore, make your friend a fiancé, na tulisema ni mmoja, sio eti una date wengi mara moja, mmoja huyo ambaye you are sure. How are you sure? You are sure because ulimu-identify as a friend, ukaona ako na qualities zile unataka na wewe uko na qualities zile anataka, na ukaona mna blend, and that is it. You make them your fiancé. Kindly usiende kufanya mkutano eti na mama yako na hujawahi leta huyo mtu nyumbani. Ukimleta nyumbani, mama yako utasikia comments zake. That's how I did it. Ni kitambo mama yake aningoje. Tulikuwa tumeenda kwao nikidhani hata mara 2 ama mara 3. Na unaona as a friend, nikisha sema vile ninataka kwa hiyo nyumba, kacha uenda haitaniruhusu nilale huko tena. Lakini kabla ya ni ngojewe kama mgeni, nilikuwa nimelala huko mara 3. Nione baba yake anaendanga aje jioni na mama yake na brothers zake, nione kama tuna blend, because marriage is very serious. Sio ya watu wawili peke yake, it goes even to the extended family, and I would not want to make a family ambayo itakuwa infringed na many other factors. Asante.
Welcome back. We have another guest who has just joined us. Kindly introduce yourself. We have been going on with the show, okay, and we are learning so much, and we are looking forward to also learn from you.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Daryl. I'm a pastor and a psychologist. I'm happy to be here, and I know my panelists here, fellow panelists have done some work before I arrived, but we hope that we're going to learn together. Thank you.
How do we know the right partner when you are choosing, when you are dating? How will you identify the right person and know this is the one that I want to settle with?
And it's not a very simple answer, because all of us have different needs. There's something we are pursuing, But I would start by saying it is good to understand yourself first as a young person. Because you can't go looking for somebody when you yourself have not understood yourself well. When you're done having your vision, your purpose, your aspirations, what is it that you are pursuing in your life? Because it is wrong to wait for somebody to come and validate you, because you may never get there, because everybody sees things differently, and what people see in you maybe is not what you have. So I think self-discovery is the first step. Now, going to how to get the right person, after you've gotten yourself purposed and well discovered, then now you start planning for who you want to have. It is good to have some needs. What are those qualities you are after? This helps especially to sieve, because you meet very many people in the process of life. You meet this, if you are a guy, you meet this lady, another one. But now when you have sifted some qualities, it kind of makes it easier not to approach anybody that comes along. So when you have those qualities that you have put there, not like so complicated, but generally morality, character, faith, such kind of things. You also kind of create an idea of who you'd want to spend time with in terms of the career you'd want to have. For them also it's important, though not a must, but at least an idea. So I think when you have done that, now you can now start connecting with people, so that you now get to a person where you feel this one, I think I can some of the qualities. I think I can try, and the rest, God willing, it works.
I agree 100% on what he has said. But also, when you were in our first session, we were talking about the place of God. And as much as you have all that, this is what I want, definitely you take it to God in prayer. And you're like, God, I desire this and this and this and this. And God is faithful. He brings that person your way. And like in my case, there is what I was like, God, this one, I need this, I want this, I want this. And I was like, God, I didn't like the issue of, where a lady is approached and says, it's not a wrong thing. But for me, I didn't want that, where a lady is approached and says, okay, let me go and pray about it, let me go and think about it. Deep within me, I was like, God, the way I will know the right person is once that person approaches me, you'll signal to me that is the right person. I had put that among all that I had chosen, had put that God signal to me that that is the right person. And that is what happened. Immediately, I knew it from the word go, this is him. I felt that signal. I felt that conviction. It was an inner conviction that this is the one. And to be more specific, I remember that conviction came, we were around Chuka girls up there, and then we met and we greeted. That was after meeting some other time. And at that point, we passed each other. When you're done with the conversation and this guy goes and you leave, and it clicked, he is the one. And that was it. It was so clear. But it doesn't happen that all the time. But for me, that is what happened. I had told God, this issue of I'm going to pray. When the right man comes, please notify me. He is the one. And God did it.
And I think it's also good to mention that it is not automatic, as she's saying. May I bring in the stages quickly? To get to that point where you make a decision, it starts with the friendship. And generationally, right now, there are many people who are avoiding that, where they just, I was joking with my young people yesterday, we had a bonfire in the church, and you're meeting today, tomorrow I miss you, the following day I love you, a day after that I am looking forward to our children with your eyes. It sounds so funny. So it kind of, you have to build friendship first. Even in a group like this where you kind of separate somebody, you start noticing. See, somehow we have some qualities you need. Sure. You feel this one, we can kind of engage at a personal level, but build friendship. Then you go to the next level, you start dating. At the level of dating is where you get kind of now go out, talk, converse. Then you go to courtship, where now you have decided this person is worth getting to know more deeply. So at the courtship level, I think for me is where you make a decision that this one I feel you can spend life. So if you feel you have a breakthrough, then you propose, you get into engagement, and I think that's what they were explaining, where you take them home. It's like these people, like you meet today, next week, talk to Madhe, you know? It's so confusing. And then you talk, Madhe will talk to so many, mpaka anaweza uliza kwa simu hajakata, ai nao hawa kwani hawaishangi. You see anakuchomea picha. So you have to know when to introduce them to church, introduce them to friends. Kuna vile unaweza introduce too early, hata upokonywe, you know, hata mjaingiana vizuri. Lazima ukuwe wise. So ukipanga maisha yako, unaweka strategy ni wapi kumpeleka home, ni wapi kumpeleka kwa pasi, ni wapi kumpeleka kwa friends, you know, such kind of a thing, so that now you create a system where even if it fails, it will not affect so many other people except you. Yeah.
When we were in high school, like shule yenye mimi nimesomea, our class, kila mtu alikuwa na diary kadogo. And in that diary, tulikuwa tunaandika the kind of a man we want. So kila mtu alikuwa na chenye anataka. So kuna wenye wanaandika tall, dark, handsome, loving, caring, romantic, you know, hizo vitu zote. But then hata mimi nilikuwa hapa, by the way, I had a diary, niliandika what the kind of a man I want. But sasa kutoka huku nje, kwanza tukachapa character development, and then tukarealize vitu ni different kwa grau. So inafika place you are like, so is it okay to have a list? Ama it's wrong.
There's this social phenomena where you have this tall, dark, handsome,
Dark and brown.
employed, driving, gifted, ukifika 20 tunatoa tall. Nine tunatoa dark. Nine tunatoa employed. Inaenda fanya unasema God, as long as he's in a trouser. Hallelujah. But anyway, to say the truth, the lists may not work at the end of the day. But I still prefer at least to have some standards. Especially for us, I think we are from a Christian perspective, am I right?
Yeah.
From a Christian perspective, let me start with the, probably may add something, let's start with the minimum threshold. Number one, a believer. That is not something you can remove. The moment you compromise on that, then you destroy the future that you may have together. Because your values, moral values, will not align at some point. These other things, as you say in the list, whatever, they change with time. Because you realize dynamics change. I can even use an example with them because we're close. When they were getting married, they were doing business. But now, Kawi is working. You see the changes that take place. So if that was a point of connection, then it will break the relationship because of that shift now as you progress. So my point would be, those kind of fleshy things, let's not work with them so much. But at least these spiritual issues there, it's good to have. Then number two is the issue of how we look at life. You know, vision. It is good to have somebody, at least don't compromise on the visions that you have. If somebody is cutting on your vision, then that should be a pointer that is not going to work well. You know, you share something and then somebody tells you, you don't even have to work, I'll take care of you. Then it's like, and you achieve me, I'm helping you, you know. Then that now brings problems. And the last thing I think it's important is to understand the family background. For me here, huwa nakwamia sana. kuna background inaweza kuwa too tough to deal with mpaka hiyo relationship haita survive. So for me, I don't compromise on that, and it was one of the pointers I had to look for. Like, I am very keen on how is she been raised, what's her value system, even from the family. Am I going to get to a family of witches? I'm not really too fast for that. I don't have that capacity. So that is a pointer. So I think those other lists you can cancel them, but on the spiritual sense, believer, believing, then on the issue of vision and ambition, and then family background, they should remain there as very important.
Yeah, thank you. I have a question. There is that point that was raised of misunderstandings are golden times when we are in our relationships. So my question comes like this. You are in a relationship, that moment you're having misunderstandings, but when you want to address them, maybe in a relationship, you feel like maybe your partner will not take it positively, or maybe he is aggressive, something of that sort. So you fear addressing, even if misunderstandings comes, you are just silent on them. Then now one day you will lipuka, like hizo makasiriko zinakuwa mingi. That's why maybe we are seeing people who are dating, they are very okay, they are laughing, smiling, but maybe that lady or that man amehide makasiriko hizo, amezi accumulate. So napata siku moja tu wameachana, you are like why? So I think kuna hiyo issue. So I'm asking, kama kuna kitu kama hiyo, your partner is like that, how do you address hizo misunderstanding? Utazi address aje ndio kitu kama hiyo isitokeze? Thank you.
It's tricky to do dating because it is that point where you want to show the best side of you, and there's a tendency to hide our feelings to ensure there is peace. It is normal, and I think every couple goes through that. Lynette and I went through it. First few months especially, you hide it from each other because you want things to be okay. You think success of the relationship is on how peaceful you are, but the reality is not like that. At the end of the day, even in a marriage, you have to be ready for conflicts, disagreements, differences of opinion, how we view things and people. So at a dating level, I understand where you're coming from, but there is a better way of kind of being honest. But how you show your honesty also matters a lot. I believe, because you don't want to be so aggressive. Kwa marriage huwa tufichianangi, tunakujanga tu namwambia hiyo nguo umevaa enda tu utoe. Si ati nikubembeleza. Hiyo kama ndio unaenda nayo hatuendi pamoja. That's Lynette telling me, and I am humbled. I go back, I change. But at the dating level, things are a bit different. I would propose this way. If you notice there's a problem, don't blurt it out immediately. Okay? Take time to think. It may be minor, but you have amplified it. If you think over it for some period, you feel it is a concern, then raise it at a point where you are in a good place. Not like mumekoro, sahi umekoro mnasema, by the way niko na issue na wewe. Ulifanya hivi na hivi na hivi, unaona? So inaleta more commotion. Na hiyo ndio watu wachana. But if you take your time, then you approach it cautiously, mwambie, by the way, what you did or how you carrying yourself or how you breaking our agreements or whatever it is, calmly. If then they respond aggressively, then you get pointers. Because we say this is a principle of dating. The relationship gives birth to a marriage, okay? And if you're not able to handle issues at the relationship, then at marriage, this is the truth, because it's good to tell you the truth. The way you see a relationship, how you solve problems, in marriage multiply that by 3, the least. Because if you're not able even to control yourself at a relationship, that is a man who can hate you when you're in marriage, because now there's nothing to lose. Already you're in there. So you have to be keen. And that's why we're saying take time to date, so that you can know how this man responds, how this woman responds to pressure, stressors, family issues. Do they respect your opinion or do they brush it off? That way you know, and you know if it's going to work or not. So my point is, calmly, cautiously, and in a time where you're not quarreling. Kuna piling, there's that word piling, na ni dangerous sana kwa relationship. Kwa sababu gani? If you pile within the relationship because you want to maintain peace, ni wapi zitatokelezea? Unazitransfer to the marriage. And even within a marriage, we try to sort out problems as early, not like immediately. It is very wrong to solve a problem immediately when the heat is very high, but we try immediately after that. When things are cold, you solve the issue. Because the more you pile, what you're doing, you are destroying the tomorrow today. Because ile siku saa mtaenda kusolve, utaanza sasa kudeal na ya last week but 1 or 3 months ago before you come to what you're doing that day. So it's better even in a relationship not to pile. Na ukirealize una pile, ujue kuna shida ya communication. Either you are afraid of the reaction of the partner, or you don't have enough self-esteem to raise an issue. Na ukuwa in that nature, kwa marriage itakuwa aje? So you have to learn to raise issues, but rather to avoid piling, because itakuwa na implications later. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, my question is concerning the aspect of you should take time to know the person. What is the right time period to wait, or what is the right time period between when you start dating through the courtship, engagements, and then marriage? Like, is there an appropriate age, an appropriate time to wait upon or to go through these 3 stages, or is it relative depending on the couple?
And I will not dare give a guideline on timing ya courtship, because it's you and your personal principles. Uone kama huyu mtu anafikiana kabisa, ameiva, anatosha mboga. Huyu mtu ambaye unaona sasa amekamilika kabisa na ninataka kumfanya soulmate. Na hata kama sipeani time, nitasema kuna zingine they are rushed. At 1 week. For example, in campus, I saw people who would meet, become friends, wamekutana leo, wakuwe friends, kesho wafanye courtship, kesho kutwa wako kwa kitanda. Hiyo sasa nayo ni aje hiyo? Si imeenda mbio sana. Hiyo imeenda mbio sana. Give yourself time to evaluate this person. To evaluate them against your personal principles. Give yourself as much time as possible. Do not rush. And we are not saying 2 years. We are not saying 10 years. But take your time. Remember, this is nobody else's life. It is your life. And therefore, you must be the master of your life. Becoming the master of your life, it means you are in control. And the person that is coming is not coming to control you, because your life is already made. Your life is already having some course. You are moving on. You are in charge of your life. If you think you need 2 years, well and good. If you think you need 1 month, think twice. Because 1 month, once again, sijui utakuwa umemjua mpaka lini. Kuna mmoja alikuja akatwambia anataka tuende tukamsimamia harusi. Na tukamketisha hapo. Tukamwambia sasa sisi tumekubali ndio, lakini kabla tukubali kabisa tuko na swali moja ama 2 ama 3. Swali la kwanza lilikuwa, mumewahi kosana na huyu mtu? She is very good, in fact. Very very good. Na huyu ukiona mtu anakosana na huyu ni yeye ako na shida. Nikamwambia sina swali lingine, lakini sitakusimamia. Kwa sababu nimerealize this person has not done any courtship. How do you do a courtship ambayo hamuja handle any disagreement? Na kama wameamua kunidanganya ya kwamba hawajawahi kosana. Kama ananidanganya ni kumaanisha I have a big question mark about the personal principles za huyu mtu ambazo zinakuja kunidanganya mimi ambaye anataka nikuwe mzazi wake. Ananidangania nini? Na kama amenidanganya tukianza, si atanidanganya to kingdom come, which is very dangerous. So take your time, as much time as you think you need, as much time as you can rationally evaluate, alafu useme I am now sure beyond any doubt, unlike beyond any reasonable doubt. It doesn't have to be reasonable. As long as you have some doubt, keep off. Asante.
Thank you very much, our guest and the host. My question is there a relationship between types of personalities or other temperamentals with dating and relationship? And also in that, the issue of a woman being a submissive creature. It comes to a point when you are in a relationship, the man pushes you like all the time anakumbusha you need to submit, but it comes to a point when it is not submitting, it is like an abuse that scripture which says a woman should be submissive. So how far will submissive go to? Thank you.
Because my Bible tells me wives submit. It doesn't tell me girlfriend submit, fiancé submit. It tells me wife.
And to your husband, not to man.
To your husband.
So I was asking, so like you are in a relationship, then you as a lady, maybe you have an idea, or rather amesema kitu, but you are not in agreement with it. So ukijaribu kupinga, he's telling you, you need to submit because you are a lady. Then you as a lady, now that you are not a wife, unakata, and then anaona like you are maybe uko the wrong side.
Okay, thank you. Wow, is that you guys are going through? I left him yesterday. There's something he said, what you see happening in a relationship, it will triple in marriage. So if a simple, you can't bring in your opinion and he cannot be able to balance his opinion, your opinion, and come into a conclusion, then it means in marriage, I think that's part of the red flags we are talking about. He's better placed to handle temperaments, but as I conclude on the submission theme, the nature of man and the ego of man, definitely it applies, whether it's a boyfriend or a fiancé, there's still that part, and they need to be given their time. There are things you need to agree on at the courtship level, and there are things at the end of the day, the husband to be, we are at courtship, need to be allowed that time to be the man, and this comes sana when you're now planning for your marriage, when at the very latter stages, not very early stages. There are those things you talk about and you realize for this one, because umefika ile level, you 3/4 the journey, I will allow him to make that decision because he is a man. Because again, as a lady, and especially the empowered woman, if you don't have that capacity to also allow the guy to be a man and to be, the leader of the family to be, then there's also an issue with you. There's also an issue there. Because you need to allow them that time. There's something he always says, that whatever decision we make, even if I was the initiator of the decision, he will carry the consequence, whether it goes right or it goes wrong. So it's a catch, it's a tricky situation. And maybe you are in a rush to push your way because you are, the empowered woman we are talking about, or you didn't give it enough time to think through. There are things that need to be thought through, and it's that balancing is usually needed, especially depending on what stage you are at in the relationship.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity. And my question is how to deal with these family issues in a marriage. Like, okay, it's just an example. Let's say Pastor Lynette and Pastor Eliud. Tuseme like Pastor Lynette kwao, they are not all that well financially, hawako sawa vile, and then she is the hope in that family. And now she has another family here, like now akona issues za familia yake na penye ametoka. Now how can you deal with these family issues? Juu, the other day I was thinking like, now kuna hii issue inasolviwa inaisha. Kuna tokea ingine inasolviwa inaisha. Kuna tokea ingine. So like they are endless. Now unajipata like, unaweza kosa kumake a step in your own life because of family issues. Now how to deal with them?
Can you deal with it?
That's the question.
No, he talked about it's important to know the family background,
Yeah.
and we are not against people who are still supporting their family. If anything, they are very responsible. And the place of birth, like somebody is a firstborn, somebody is a secondborn, a thirdborn.
I'm a firstborn.
Or a fourthborn. There are issues that come along by that fact that somebody is a firstborn. And probably, like in his case, he's a firstborn, the only man, and our dad is not here. He left when they were very young. Entering into that marriage, I knew I am sharing him all the way. Because the mother will need a man figure. He's the only one she can run to. His sisters will need a brother. He's the only brother. So getting into that, I knew definitely I have to share him with the rest. So the issues of family are very real. See our Facebook sasa, they are very real. They are very real. And you have to weigh and to gauge how far, to what extent. And like you say, is it something I can handle? But most of the men who are very responsible with their families, they are very responsible even in their own homes. Because I don't expect him to take care of me, yet the only sister who knows he's the only one I can look up to is struggling and straining. I have to balance. And we have to, when we come together now, we have to handle it as together. I have to help him and he has to help me. And it happens on both sides. It can be the man, it can be the, maybe in the last one, but niye ameendelea. Definitely. It can even be very inhuman that hautaki asaidie sister yake mdogo. You are also a devil. You see? But there's that notion we get, this guy is my guy, I will not share him with anybody, he's mine and myself alone. Like no, I share him with his family, I share him with the church, I share him with my children, I share him with the community and with everybody. So that you have to have that openness and that open mind. But there is an extent that you feel, what? You need to talk these things. Yeah. Don't assume them. Talk about them before you get there.
And I think to add before we allow the other couple to come in, I may be needed so much in my family because I'm a firstborn and the only male, but she's a thirdborn. And psychologically, when you study positions of birth, thirdborns are the unifiers of the family. So you'll find I have to understand when she is crying for her family, desiring for them to be together, trying to gather them. Now, I understand that as a counselor, but there are not many people who understand. You even hear some men say, you not go to your home. Nimekata iyo. You know, because she wants everything to be one. She wants, I would say that to build up on the point she has left on the extent, I think what I would say is, if it is affecting you too much that you're not happy, don't commit to it, because it's not going to change. It is going to get even deeper. Because probably right now, we are taking care of, let's say, our nephews when they are in primary school. This is just an example. Do you think now it's going to stop when they go to high school? It's going to continue. That's a higher level of responsibility. And then at the university, and then physical presence. So don't think that it's going to change. Let me get into it. I think marriage is not a trial and error, or it's not something you get into hoping that things will change. I told you, things don't change. Sometimes they get worse, and that is a reality. So if you're getting into a marriage, let you know whatever that this guy is committed to, everything, how many loans he has, because nyinyi warembo kwanza, nyinyi waongeleshe, mnabebwa sana na tugari tu Subaru, jamaa kona sideburns, anakaa poa. Ukiingia unapata salary analipangwa 100k, anaingizanga net ya 9k. Unajua hiyo ukiwa ndani, kwa sababu wewe uliconcentrate na superficial, haukuangalia the deeper things. So uchimbe mtu. If a guy doesn't even show you his payslip, ujue kuna shida. Kwa nini uingie kwa marriage ujue payslip ya mtu inakaaje? Au ujue commitments amemake kwa family, anafunza watoto wangapi, ni watu wangapi wanamwangalia. You see, one of my friends, he was left as an orphan, and the whole family inamwangalianga. It is not easy for the wife. Kama si mwanamke wise na muombezi, hawezi endanisha. Na nikwambie sasa, the last thing, if a woman takes her husband away from the family, they lose the most. So the best thing to do is to be sure that you're ready to invest in him and put parameters, kidogo parameters ambazo zitatumika ku guide. What is it that you're going to do, and at what level? How much time are you going to give to your family and to my family? Because also men sometimes wana mess up. Unapata mwanaume anatoka job, kama anaishi ushago karibu na maadhi, anapitia kwa maadhi from 7, wanachat mpaka 9, anakuja kwake kuwatch news zikiisha anaenda kulala. Si unaona huyo sasa ni mtu very selfish. So there has to be a kind of an understanding, proper contracting on how far am I going to give myself and how far am I going to give to my family. And that is very important. I can also use a small example as I close. It is not even also about family commitments. At a job, at academics, how much time are you going to give those things, and how much are you going to give to your family? Like now I'm doing 2-3 programs at the same time, but I make sure that I get home, I see kids, those days I get home early, we talk, spend time with them. Wakilala sasa mimi naingia kwa vitu zangu, kupanga masomo na all that, kwa sababu it is very unfair to put everything into those other investments and then you neglect the family. So I would say, if you realize your guy or your woman is committed kwa family, usiingie blindly, ujue kila kitu na muagree on the extent. And sometimes inabidi zingine zikatwe, kwa sababu sisi si Messiah. Yesu Mwokozi alikuja mmoja. So I cannot be the savior of my family. That is a lie, because I'm going to kill my family as I save other families. So we have to agree. Na ukiona a guy ako rigid kukatalia, please, that's a red flag. Utaumia na utakonda na utapotea at the end of the day. So there's no need. Yeah.
In most cases, most people believe relationship is all about sex. When you're in a relationship, now tuko free. Nimesema it's you, we are very free. Ni sex. So what can you advise this generation yenye sahi tuko, when you wanna believe hakuna kitu ingine, ni relationship ni sex? What can you advise them? Because that's where we are going wrong. and we are connecting our souls to many other souls, because maybe hata that person is not the right person for you yet, hata hujamu identify kama ni yeye.
Tulisema courtship should answer that question if you can live with it. It's good to know that kama amekwambia hivyo anaweza ambia mwingine, na hivyo sasa tunaulizana can I live with it? Na kama you can live with it, sina shida sana. Nasema hivyo kwa sababu I know somebody, not a very close friend but a neighbor, ambaye ameoa na alioa msichana kutoka Moigaos. Moigaos ni shamba la wamama ambalo wanapanda na wanavuna pale. Na huyo mama saa zingine anatoka nyumbani, anaenda anavuna kidogo na anawaletea chakula nyumbani. Can you live with it? Courtship should not have any word closely related to sex. Courtship tulisema ni kujaribu kuangaliana, ni kusomana. Na kusomana it's not about the bed. Tulisema mtu kama amekuwa ukue wa bedroom, wewe utakaa wa bedroom peke yake. Not only courtship, even marriage is not sex. Msijidanganye hiyo maneno. Marriage is bigger than that. And even courtship must handle more serious things. Sex is not as serious. Kwa sababu kuna kupendwa na kutakwa. Kuna mtu anakutaka na kuna mwingine anakupenda. Huyu wa sex ni kidani ni kutaka anakutaka. And I think you are not interested in kutakwa. You are interested with a bigger thing. If it's about sex, you can get it from anywhere. Not necessarily huyu anakwambia anakupenda. Ndio maana nataka kuitaja ikiwa a no-go zone. It's a red flag.
On our rural shores nowadays, it's something that is really emerging. And I know we are on that. You find siku ya rural shore tumeshona nguo, tuko na mpaka tutoto tule tuna, just it's done like a wedding. Wazazi wamekuja, and there's even maybe a pastor or a priest, and wanakuja wana bless the union. My friends, that is not marriage. Because so many people after that, they are going to sex. Si pastor alikuja akaombea rurasho. Si hao walikuwa wamevaa hizo nguo. So we are missing a lot, children of God. We are missing a lot of holy weddings by the current rurasho that are happening. Very, very much. Sisemi tusikuwe modern, na sisemi tusifanye vitu in a modern way, but as Christians we really need to be very careful. And I will tell that even to the people who are out there who will watch this, our current rural shows are breaking holiness and righteousness. Because I have seen it. Hata unashindwa pastor atafanya nini siku ya kuunganisha? What has not been done? Wamekata keki, wamekulanisha, kumehubiriwa, wameblessiwa. You're like, what else? Even from the thinking. And that is what people are carrying into. You have between relation and marriage is like 2 months or a month. Yet destinies are being destroyed within that very short period. And let me tell you, if you mess at that time, you mess your own life. You don't have the confidence even to talk. We have the confidence to talk to you because you were able to wait to the end. Otherwise, hatuwezi tunasema nini na atuku manage. The other thing that is affecting the young people of today, like I said when you were starting, it is the soap operas. My friend, those people you find making love, cameras are on. That is why you see it. If cameras were not on, they are working. Oh, now they are making sex and love and all that. But cameras, that is why you are seeing it. There were people on camera wakiwachukua. It was a clip. And they are achieving the objective. But sasa unaona walifanya. See, you follow that thing at 8 a.m. Well, the only chance unapata with your guy or with your lady, you want to exercise what you saw. Soap opera is destroying us completely. That is work. They are on camera. There is nothing happening like you're seeing. Nobody can do that on a camera. It is just an action. They're acting, but we carry that. Our emotions zinainuka. Ukiwatch so mpaka unaanza kumtext. Moto imeanza kupanda. Na ni soap opera, moto unaanza kupanda. Mbona like, can we meet up? Maybe mna share the same hostel line moja. Before you know, saa 7 ya usiku you are the corridors. It destroys you completely.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. Thank you to audience for being here. Tunashukuru. This is Golden Act TV. Go to our YouTube channel, Golden Act TV, ARC. Like, drop a comment, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell. Thank you so much. See you later.